All right. Yes. Don't adjust your phones. Don't adjust them. Here I am, your buddy old pal Tom. And this is episode 7 of Evening. I thank you for taking the time to take a peek at my channel here. Just a quick little reminder. This is nothing professional. This is me just shooting the breeze, talking about current events, talking about things on my mind. I have 2 other channels. I have From the Bleachers Sports Show, which is a sports show, and I have the Tom Brand 1, which is my little sketches and quote-unquote comedy. I think it's funny. Please look at it. Maybe even subscribe. It would be nice. So, yeah. And this channel is, about a little bit of everything. It's a vlog channel. You have these type of video casts, I guess, that you want to call them, that I do. I started out recently. As you fall down to the ground. Started them recently. And it's about trips, in the city, famous locations, vlogs, filming locations, so on and so forth. Did a whole bunch of haunted places in and around, my neck of the woods. But yeah, here we are, guys. How was your Halloween? Hope you didn't get too scared. If you have kiddos, I hope the kiddos enjoyed Halloween. Now, my neck of the neighborhood, let me tell you something. Where I live, it's a suburb. It's not where you have traffic jams, right? It's a suburbia. And but my town, that's the town where busloads of kids and yesterday you seen soccer vans of the extreme, all lining up, pulling into town to go all to the houses for all the candies, because my neighborhood really goes all out, with the decorations. Like you could even make the argument nowadays that at least I could see it from my neighborhood where I am, that people, you might even argue, go all out, more so than they would for Christmas. So you got that going, where the houses are all decked out, and you got the lights going, you got the figures, you got everything going. So everyone comes into town to go trick-or-treating to all the houses. And seriously, like, if you're honestly, like, if you plan on participating, we didn't participate. We went trick-or-treating, but I seen what was developing as we were trick-or-treating, right? So, me, my wife, and my kid, we go up to a house, let's say, for example, right? We're like solo. We're not it's just us. We're not traveling in a group. And we ring a doorbell. Lady comes out, and then you hear a mom, "Hey kids, this way! The lady's giving out candy." Like the wind blew this whole pack of running, screaming kids following my kid to get candy. And that was the common theme I noticed. Like all the new kids that were not from our neighborhood, they relied almost on the local neighborhood kids to kind of be like, yeah, that's the good house to go to. We go there every year. We get the most awesomest candy. That's what I felt, because a lot of the kids that weren't from the neighborhood were following the kids that were from the neighborhood. Parents probably nudge each other and be like, yeah, listen, just follow us. We know where to go to get all that good candy. Shout out as well to and I don't, my wife told me that her father used to do this, where and I get it, because it could become exhausting. Like, these kids want to be trick-or-treating all day. Like, we started at 4:30 and we lasted to about 7. But, I seen people at like 9:30 still trick-or-treating, right? Like 9:30, 10 o'clock still trick-or-treating. So, imagine if you're like the dad that has like your 5 or 6, like, you're like 3 to 5 kids in deep. So, I seen a good majority of people just, the pops, mostly the pops, because, they can't bother. They got the sports radio on in the game, in the background and whatnot. But they drop off their kids in the beginning of the block, and then they're driving behind, keeping an eye out, but not getting out of the car. Kind of, long day at work, a type of deal. Shout out to those dads who just don't want to do the trick-or-treating, but they figure they have to do something, right? That way they could go out during the weekend. Shout out to those dads. They tried. The dad that does not walk and just stays in the car. And let me tell you too, some of our neighbors were really very bold. What I noticed some neighbors do was they left a bowl out on the porch. So what happens? Kids are now able to take from the bowl. Now, shout out to the kids. Shout out to also the parents for doing the right thing. Because when we approached the bowl of candy, there was still a lot of candy left, and I'm assuming that bowl has been out there quite some time, and that was not filled just upon our arrival. That's why I like to hope. That's why I like to think. I like to think there's some hope in humanity, where one kid did not grab the whole bowl, and if they did, the parent said, "Hey, Sonny, put that bowl back. Put that candy back in that bowl." Shout out to a job well done. Then again, who am I kidding? I'm sure the bowl was probably emptied with the next kid and next family after hours. So, my kid came out like a bandit. Hopefully your kid came out like a bandit too. They have this cool thing too, where they have this trunk or treat, where you guys heard of it, right? It's like this safe, supposed to be this, you hope, safer option of trick-or-treating, where you decorate your trunk. It's usually done through like a church or school parents, and you decorate your trunk, and there you have candy and so on and so forth. But whether it was a little bit bad yesterday. It was spotty. Was it gonna rain? Was it not gonna rain? It actually did taper off, so the kids were able to go trick-or-treating. But so they had this trunk or treat inside the school. You paid $2, and I'm telling you what, there were like maybe 10 tables of like decorations with candy. Score. If I'm a kid, if they had trunk or treat when I was going trick-or-treating, plus the amount that from in the neighborhood, score. My kiddo had like two pumpkins full of candy. Score. Now I know you guys, you parents, when your kiddos went to sleep, we're not taking any candy. That's not the first candy you're gonna steal. You're not gonna steal any candy. It's your kiddos' candy, right? Or you guys won't be doing that Jimmy Fallon prank. I gotta say that Jimmy Fallon prank does kind of crack me up, where he pretty much plays the prank from years ago. I don't know if he still does it, where he tells parents to tell their kids that the parents ate all the candy, just to see what their reaction would be from their kid. And man, some of those reactions, if you watch YouTube, were, jeez, wow. Check it out. I think you can type in like a Halloween candy prank Jimmy Fallon. It's funny. Jimmy Fallon, not that he needs my promotion, but just saying. Very topic of conversation. So yeah, my kid made out with a more than decent amount of candy. And I'm looking through the candy, and I'm thinking to myself, some of this candy sucks. But some of this candy, like, wow. So that makes me want to put together a list for today's episode of, because I can't see. Top things to receive in your Halloween pumpkin basket. Top things in order. Worst thing, right off the bat, we will establish this. If you got this as a kid, or if your kid has gotten this, if you get this item, you are immediately to chuck it out the window or chuck it in the garbage can, stomp on it, get rid of it. No good. No good. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. And that is candy corn. Like, what is that? There's a whole bunch of, you hear sirens, a bunch of cop cars on the cover cars. Man, these cops over here now drives cars that you would not even recognize were actual cop cars, which I guess is the beauty of it. I see a Charger, I see a Ford Escape, I see a Toyota Camry, your typical Impala. Now, you would never know what these police is on their game with the undercover cars. Anyway, candy corn. Throw that crap out. Garbage. My personal favorite, number one, And this is my list. My list. Skittles. Number 1. Taste the rainbow. Enough said. Skittles. You have many flavors that you could pick from, which are all good for Skittles. You have strawberry. You have lime. You also have lemon, which is on point. As 3 cars try to go into one lane here. Welcome to New York with these type of drivers. If only you've seen the way these people drive. So that's number 1. Skittles. Taste the rainbow. There is nothing better than Skittles. Though sometimes you will come across a purple grape Skittle, which I will toss to the side because who wants grape? Now, the grape Skittles, you could actually have one and it's still good. Some candy you need to be having like 2 of that candy in your mouth for it to be good. But you could have 1 Skittle, which is perfectly fine. Or you could have a whole bunch of Skittles, which is just as fine, and they will taste just as good, whether it be multiple or 1. Skittles, number 1. Number 2 thing that you could have in your pumpkin, or that you could get trick-or-treating, I think, is chips. Chips. Ladies and gentlemen, chips. I don't know if you realize, if you get chips for Halloween, that means you have come across a landmine, my friends. Chips. 2 chips. There were multiple chips in my son's bag. And you know what? That, just for the fact of having a chip, those quarter bags, right? The old school quarter bags. Those chips will last longer than any candy you could have in your bucket. Honey barbecue chips. Top notch. Top notch. You know what? My son enjoyed it. So much so that he did not want to share. And he always shares. A little bit. I mean, he's almost 3. Give him some slack. Chips. Always a positive in your Easter bucket, basket there for Halloween. So we have Skittles, chips. The third thing, a top-notch thing that you could have in your bucket, in your Halloween bucket there, basket, I would go for now it's tough. It's tough. But I would definitely say and I'm going to leave out chocolate. Chocolate is disgusting. Almonds, Reese's, Hershey Kisses. Disgusting. No. Hershey Milky Way, Snickers, no. Disgusting. No good. No chocolate will make my top 3 of things that you could receive in a bucket. The third one, this is now my third one. It's the candy. I believe they're called Sweet Tarts. The name escapes me. I believe it's Sweet Tarts, where it's in a plastic, wrapped around. You probably have like maybe 15 to 20 little candies all wrapped into one. Now you might say it's just like a Skittle. Who cares? It's equally as good. I believe they're called Sweet Tarts. You know what I'm referring to. It's that wrapper of 15 to 20 small little oval-shaped candies. You have the white color. You have orange as well. You could chew on it and it'll be okay, but why would you want to do it? Or you could suck on it. It's perfect. That is my top 3. Now you might be saying, okay, if I'm not adding in the chocolate, sometimes you get cupcakes. Actually, I seen a lady give out a cupcake. I mean, times are different now, so not many people were taking the cupcake for obvious reasons there, but a lot of people will go with the cupcake. Cupcakes, no. Gross. Yuck. No cupcakes. Disgusting. You, if you like cupcakes, I'd argue, are not human. I kid. Just playing around. I still hate cupcakes, though. So my top 3: Skittles. Now, I mean, listen, full size or the little travel size packets, equally as good. Chips, any type of chip, because that's when you realize you're dealing. You get chips, you realize that the neighborhood that you're dealing with is heavy hitter, and your basket will look pretty damn good at the end of your Halloween experience. And that little candy that I believe is called Sweet Tarts, I believe. You know what they are. Little wrapped, 15 to 20 of them, miniature, small, wrapped up too. Good. That's it. Throw out candy corn. Disgusting. Don't even, if you get Snickers, Almond Joy, Milky Way, any form of chocolate, just toss that out. Toss that garbage out. Same goes for a cupcake. You're welcome. My top 3. Speaking of Halloween, before we wrap up Halloween, and again, belated Halloween to you guys, I was reading this story. And I will put it on the description here, the timestamp. Man, I can't speak. There is a manor. There was for Halloween. There was I believe it's called Mckamey haunted house. Mckamey Manor, I believe is what I'll put in the timestamp here. It's located in Tennessee, and it has potentially, depending on how you play this out, you can wind up in Huntsville, Alabama. So it starts in Tennessee. I believe it's Southernton, Tennessee. Look it up. It's a 40-page to get into this thing. There's apparently a long waiting list to get into this thing. It's a 40-page waiver, a background check that you go through. A 40-page waiver that you have to sign. 40 pages of waivers. A background check. All that it costs, all that you need to do to get in is just bring dog food. Dog food, yes. Because the person that runs that place has 5 dogs. Apparently he has a decent amount of dogs. So it's dog food for his dogs. That's the only thing that you're paying here. And the story goes that you could be possibly, or at least this is what the reports say, you could be subject to extreme torture and possible dental work. Now, and one of the rules as you're going, it's pretty much you're going through pain, if I'm reading the article correctly. And for example, what happens here too, the whole duration could last up to 10 hours. No one, based on the stats on this article here, no one has completed this challenge from beginning to end. You're also given a psychological background, by the way, too, before you're welcome to participate in this. So you're subjecting yourself, you're consenting to different forms of torture, apparently submersions, unwanted dental work, and goes on in this article, if you curse or if you fail to complete a task, you will owe $500 for every incomplete task or every curse word that you say, because you can't curse in the manor, you will lose $500. Now, this is so extreme that it's been on change.org to shut it down. Calls for this manor, this haunted house, to be shut down. Now the owner is, he does not want to, if I'm reading this right, which I hope I am, he does not want to confirm or deny, but he's saying that in this game that they play, it's to see how mentally strong you're able to be. He pries on your weaknesses. There's talks about people swallowing, hallucinating, and all these things come into play if you experience this house. That's the point I'm trying to make. And people want it shut down. People are saying that this is a torture chamber. Managers, the owner is saying it's, hypnosis. Wow. I mean, what can you say with something like that? And and there's a long waiting list. I don't think I'd be able to last with that. That's that's like you're pretty much living from all descriptions. You're living out a horror film. That's tough, man. That's tough. I remember just trying to put yourself in those type of shoes, and I guess a lot of thrill seekers are looking for it. He's saying that he informs everyone every time a new participant comes in. He informs the police of what's going on. He videotapes everything to show that nothing's being done and it's all just a mind game. Man, I remember, seeing some movies and like, what? Hills Have Eyes. Can you imagine playing in that type of reality game? Or No Vacancy. I believe No Vacancy was the one where couple was traveling and got a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. Nothing is open. They can't change the tire, so they have to stay at this seedy motel. It's falling apart. Roaches, bugs everywhere. And then as they rent that room, they're pretty much now stuck because the owner of that motel is now playing mind games with him, trying to attack him and spook him out because he has a hole pierced through the walls. That way he's able to see what they're doing and able to torture them through various family members, axes and chases and chainsaws, and I believe it was No Vacancy. It freaks me out. That's the point. Now, and I believe you could win upwards of about $10,000. Hey, if you're able to do it, more power to you. If in fact it's being monitored by the police department and they're aware of this, listen, I guess you really can't complain. It seems like everything is done on the up and up. Especially if you're signing waiver forms. Seems like everything's on the up and up. What might be considered extreme for one person is not extreme for the other. Why else would you subject yourself reading all of this and signing waiver forms? Jeez, but not for me, man. That's really being a thrill seeker if you are in fact going through that and doing that. Just want to kind of segue into now that Halloween is over. And something else that was in the news. And it's a sad story. It was from a cruise line. What happened apparently was grandparent was on high up on the ship there, one of these top floors there. They were in dock apparently, I believe it was in Puerto Rico. They were in dock, and it seemed like from the description might have been like a pool area, almost like pool slash like a pool area, or might have been like a dining area. And this area had windows that were open and windows that were closed. I've been on cruises, but I haven't been on that cruise ship, so I'm not familiar. But I know what they're referring to when you have windows open. Some windows were open there, and some weren't. That's usually like in the dining area by the pool, pool side. These type of like quick eats. Usually, you have a buffet, and then you have inside seating or outside seating, by the pool. It's one of these type of descriptions, if I'm not mistaken. And he was playing with the kid, and I guess the story went that he wanted to he hoisted the kid up on the rail. I guess he was trying to show the kid his granddaughter a view of something. He didn't realize that the window was open. The child leaned back, then fell out, and unfortunately passed away. So now the story is that he will be tried. He will be put in front of a court. Just a real sad story all around. If I'm not mistaken, I think at first they wanted to blame the cruise line, or they wanted to do some type of a lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I remember, hearing at first, that's what the family had planned to do. Now this has turned into this. I think it's, unfortunately, it's a sad case. That grief that grandfather is going to have to go through. It seems like it was an accident. I don't think there was any malicious intent. Just enjoying a family vacation. Probably really didn't think anything of it, and that, you might argue that's part of the problem. He should have been thinking why, something like that could not be safe. Who knows? I don't want to speak for him, but he probably thought that there was a window there because he's seen other windows nearby, maybe prior, and maybe he's been on that ship numerous times. He just seems like assumed that there was a window there when it wasn't, when in fact it was an open window. That's a sad case. He's just living through that grief alone is a punishment, far more of a punishment that any punishment that he could receive from the court system. Sad. I'm sure, hindsight, he would have said that he should have been more careful, obviously, but at that point, he was playing with his grandkid, it seems like, and it was just, he got lost in the moment, unfortunately. Just sad, and I don't think that he should be tried. His guilt in itself, sad. That's going to do it for episode 7, guys. I hope all is well, and I look forward to speaking to you guys very, very soon. Take care, guys.